Good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining us here on the ice. Brought to you by Case Financial Group, Doak Spoke Fuels, Fate, Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy, and of course our friends at Toby Hockey. Tonight's guest is Kyle Nixon, head coach of the U15 Prep with the Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy. Coming off a one-on-one weekend in Wilcox, Saskatchewan. Yes, they're back in action. They're back playing hockey. And really, when you think about it, they've played close to 35 games now and about 6 weeks left in the schedule. Regular season exhibition. Couple of games this weekend upcoming with the rink, showcase after that. And really, it's the month of February, and you got 1 month left of hockey before playoffs. So we're going to bring Kyle, and we're going to talk about how it's going to ramp up for him these upcoming weeks into the beginning of March, what the players expect to get done, and what we hope to see the players accomplish here at the end of the season. Plus, we're not going to throw Kyle under the bus. We're going to let him drive the bus on something that the players are getting involved in as well as him, because he's going to do it tonight. Totally out of the blue, impromptu. So please, on the ice, welcome Kyle Nixon to the show. Joining me as promised, Kyle Nixon. Kyle, it's a little bit chilly down in Pilot Mountain, chilly in here in Winnipeg too, as you can see by the wonderful attire. Nice toque. I do miss those.
Yeah, pretty necessary right now, that's for sure.
Pretty necessary. To get necessary, are the kids still enjoying the 8:30 a.m. practices every morning?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they don't really have a choice, but they haven't complained. They get to the rink quite early, and we try to get as much out of our ice slot as we can. Usually get a few extra minutes. So far, so good. It's been a tough grind in the winter when it's either minus 45 or it's a blizzard out, but they make it.
They certainly make it. Now, I'm assuming that I know I've seen on Saturdays when they have the game time attire, it's a little different than what's expected to come from their dorms or prospective residences to the rink. Obviously, a little better attire, a little more warmth, a little more extra clothing per se.
Yeah, I think they've made the adjustment. They're well geared through our academy, obviously, and being in Manitoba, they get enough winter attire that kind of keeps them warm, I guess. But yeah, they've made a few adjustments from when we started the year, and it didn't really turn into winter until the middle of November.
How's the snow? Are they enjoying the amount of snow? We haven't had that in a while.
I think around the community, a couple of the billet houses get them to do some shoveling for some driveways and stuff like that, which I think is good for them. And yeah, I think they're enjoying the full on winter that's been happening here over the last couple of months.
A little bit of community service work, right?
Yeah, something to be good people and to help out a little bit.
There you go. They're young. They got lots of energy, right?
They sure do.
Right on. So this past weekend, trip out to Wilcox, Saskatchewan, taking on the Hounds. First game didn't turn out the way it should have. Second game certainly had a complete role reversal. This happened once already, Kyle, earlier in the season. Seeing the tale of two teams, brought to you by Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy U15, not Charles Dickens, sorry. But talk to us about how the team was able to come back in the second game and prove that they could shut out a team that shut them out the night previous.
Yeah, a little bit different this time around than the start of the year. The score is not flattering from Saturday, but we actually played quite well. We outshot them for the first two periods. We had pretty quality opportunities to score. And then once you kind of get behind, you start to press a little bit, make a few mistakes, and they capitalized kind of late in the game to make the gap a little bit wider. And I mean, they were probably the better team on Saturday, but we definitely had lots of moments, especially early in the game, where we competed and outplayed them. So we focused on that a lot after the game in some of our post-game speeches, and then tried to prepare for the early start on Sunday, made a couple of adjustments, and played fairly consistently. And scoring that first goal has been big for us. When we've been able to do that a few times, it kind of takes a little bit of the pressure off. And when we get behind, you can kind of feel guys get get a little tight or even get a little bit down. So our message has just been to try to stay positive and be competitive. And I think we did that on Sunday. So we played okay on Saturday and just didn't get results. And then we were able to kind of flip the script on Sunday.
That first goal, how you said how important it is, but really when you talk about it for a team that has decent goal scoring, but a half a dozen of its players, but goals against has truly been something that has battled this team throughout the entire season, whether it be the defense, so I think defense is a whole team aspect, not just the guy between the pipes, obviously. But scoring that goal certainly alleviates the pressure, like you said. How do you take that momentum of that Sunday morning game to this weekend playing the rink? A little bit different of a team, a stronger team, but a faster team as well.
Yeah, that's the challenge for sure, to take what we found to be successful this weekend and then to try and take our game to another level where the rink is going to be a challenge for us. We haven't seen them since early on in the year, so our first goal is to be competitive with them. Just to go and say it's our, because we've improved, we expect to win, I think is maybe not fair to our group, but I think based on what we've been able to accomplish since the start of the year, a very achievable goal for us is to try and be competitive and prove that we belong on the same ice as them. So I think our guys are excited for that. I think they know they've improved and we've gone through a lot of teachable moments, let's say, on and off the ice, which I think contributes to the way that we play. So if we're healthy and we don't have too much in terms of injuries right now, and we get quality goaltending and our defense is steady, and as a team we try to defend as well as possible, then hopefully we can have 3 games where we compete against the rink.
We haven't seen them since fairly early in the season. What do you look forward from your team to show their best foot forward? What does your team have to do to maybe catch the rink off guard?
Well, I think one of the main things for us is just not get caught up in the fact that we're playing the rink and potentially get a little intimidated or a little starstruck and just kind of watch them skate around the ice. I think we're past that now, and our goal is going to be to try to play it at the same pace as them and try to feel like we can push back a little bit. If we see some of that early, it could give us something to build on, and we can kind of treat it like a little 3-game series and get better as the weekend goes on. Then hopefully we can have games where we can look ourselves in the mirror and say we had an opportunity to potentially win or lose. I mean, it's hard to control that, but if we can say we competed and get a few bounces or score on the power play or whatever might happen, and realistically can say to our group that we were right there with them, I think that would be a huge positive step for us.
The team had about a month off during the winter break. Did it take them a while to get their wheels back, to get their skates back under them, or was that just one of those? How does a coach prepare for that, knowing that you've got a bit of a break, both school and hockey, but then you've got to get right into it because the season doesn't take a break either?
Yeah, I think the time off is, well, first of all, I think it was really good. We're super busy, and I think to have a little bit of a break from each other in the rink, I think there's some value in that. And we got back on the ice pretty quick after Christmas break, and I mean they're young teenage boys who just never really seem to run out of energy. So I think the conditioning part of it and the stamina and endurance that it takes to compete, I think that's still there. And it's just like the timing and getting back into a competitive mindset and remembering some of the things that we learned in the first half, the difference between us being successful and competitive versus us struggling against some teams. Those are some things that we tried to talk about off the ice. And in our first game back, we played okay, and then this weekend was steps in the right direction. So hopefully we're right there with the rink this weekend.
Looking at the schedule, Kyle, it really is going to be a quick 6 weeks because after March 5th, playoffs come around, and that's the end of the regular season. What do the boys have to do to make sure that when it comes to the end of February, early March, all systems go, all fires are still moving? How do you show that they're playing their best hockey at the end of February, early March?
Well, just based on Sunday's game, I think that's one of the games that we played a complete 60 minutes. There was no lulls. There was no parts of the game where I felt like we kind of lost our focus and our intensity. So if we're going to be successful throughout the month of February and then head into the league's final playoff tournament in March, if we can just try to be a team that plays a full 3 periods, that's going to give us the best chance to be successful. And we have a lot of opportunities to learn how to do that. The rink coming here this weekend, the showcase in Winnipeg following that. We'll get a little break now because we flip-flop the weekends with Notre Dame, which I think is good. It should give us a chance to maybe rest or be healthy, depending how those weekends go. And then we play every weekend after that, carrying right into BC in the middle of March. So we're busy, which I think is good. And for us to be successful, I think we'll be able to see the difference between winning and losing over the course of the next month and a half.
Have we set up any team goals for the remainder of this season, Kyle, with you, the group, the coaching staff?
I think for us, our main message all year has been improvement, and to set statistical goals or what we're trying to do in terms of points. I don't know if that's something that I want our guys to look at, where they're looking at the standings and their own personal stats and things like that. If we notice that we play teams that we battled with at the start of the year, and then we play them later on over the next month, we can see that we're more competitive. Like, obviously, we have chances to win. I think that's really important. And I think for us, like I said, in dealing with the rink, to be in games where we can talk to guys and they can provide feedback to us where they feel like they were competitive. I mean, that's been our main goal all year, is to improve from where we started at, which I think we've done and still have a long way to go, and to show that we can compete with just about everybody in this league. And that's a challenge because there are some good teams with some big guys that are fast, that are probably going to end up having a lot of kids called in the junior draft. So for us to feel like we belong with some of those teams, I mean, that's kind of been our goal all year, and now we're going to get a chance to prove that.
Do you notice that? I mean, the U15 age is that, that bantam draft upcoming in, the latter part of this spring, early summer. Have you noticed certain players, certain teams have that benchmark player that you're competing against? And does that give you a bit of a sense of where the team has to go in terms of not points and accolades and whatnot, but in terms of play, in terms of attitude towards hockey, just to reach that or attain that next goal?
A little bit. I think the way that the world works right now in terms of access to information, social media, and things like that, our guys know more than I do about players and other teams from all across the country. This guy played here. This guy did this guy did that. And so for our guys, I think it's important to focus on, that's great. There's some talented hockey players that you're going to play against, but whether or not they're going to end up in a position to be drafted doesn't really impact their own games. So yeah, it's great to see some of these guys that are big and strong and fast, and we want to be able to compete with guys that are going to probably move on in hockey for the next few years. But it's important for our guys to feel like they're right there too. So there's some value in looking at some of the top guys and us seeing them on the ice. But I mean, the ultimate focus is that our team gets better.
Focus on the ice is to get better. How was the focus in the classroom? I mean, it's really their first year, chemistry-wise, on the ice, chemistry in the class perhaps, but also getting that whole balance of time management now that we've gone full circle and into over half of a regular season. Are the players adapted well? Are they enjoying the lifestyle? And what have you noticed about their performance in the classroom as well?
Yeah, I know. I think I've mentioned this a few times when I've been on and talking about the whole development of our guys as people, not just hockey players. And again, it's very similar to the improvement that you see on the ice, off the ice, understanding the routine that it is to go to the rink and then come to school and be productive in school and kind of turn your hockey brain off for the school day and then actually focus on their academics. That was a learning experience, I think, at the start of the year. And guys know now that they're being held accountable academically, especially heading into, for our grade 9s, they're heading into kind of an exam season and then the second semester. So that's been a focus point for us. As we travel and get back on the road here in February, it'll be back to school sessions at the hotel and making sure that they're being caught up in their classes, ultimately, if they fall behind in anything they're supposed to be doing academically, it's going to impact their eligibility to play hockey. So that message has been pretty consistent, and guys, they haven't really even had to adapt anything too drastically. I think they knew kind of what they were getting themselves into. So that's been positive for me, for somebody that is teaching half of my team and then in the building. So definitely some speeches and life experience that kids are maybe new to, but they've responded well to the fact that they're not just here to play hockey, they're here to learn and become good people too.
Preparing the kids on the ice, in the classroom. Who's preparing them for their 5 minutes of fame? As a lot of these players have now started to open up a little bit about their character and their personality with regards to some of the questions and some of the answers they're giving on the Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy website. Are you familiar with these questions, Kyle? Have you been talking or hearing some small little grumblings of what these kids are getting asked to answer?
This will be a new experience for me. They haven't opened up too much about it. I've seen a lot of positive feedback, and I think the responses that you're getting from these kids are just the idea that they've been told to be respectful and responsible is a common message. Sometimes it falls on deaf ears, and they need reminders, but that's something that's been consistently communicated to them. So whatever's coming through in those interviews, hopefully it makes some sense. And
there's some good ones. There's some really good spots there. I mean, I saw today's episode, or today's 3 players, 2 of which play for you, I believe, Kyle, because they look rather young. I don't think they're on Coach Rick's squad, but they had 5 questions. And I'm going to give you the same 5 questions because I think they're pretty good. Are you ready? I call it the Fast 5.
All right, let's see what we can do.
I think you guys call it the get to know your Buffalo kind of thing. So
right.
Get to know your Buffalo. Just not bad. Question 1. What's your favorite TV show?
The Office.
It's a good call. We know The Office. The young kids, do you think the young kids still watch The Office, or is that above them?
I don't know. They seem to be into Brooklyn Nine-Nine and some of the shows that are similar to it, but I don't know if I'm quite in touch with what they're watching on Netflix on their phone. So I'm good to throw The Office on for about the 15th time, so makes me laugh.
There you go. If you had to describe yourself as an animal, which animal would you be?
That's an interesting question. I will say that I would be some type of maybe a grizzly bear.
Grizzly bear?
That's a lie. I'm too soft to be a grizzly bear. Maybe a bear that's just kind of chilling.
Chilling bear. Okay. So yeah. A bear maybe in the zoo that's well taken care of.
Well, I just like to sleep, and I don't like when it's cold, so I feel like that's
there you go. Okay. Good reason. Yeah. If you didn't have to live, or if you could pick anywhere in the world where you could live, where would it be?
Well, I like to golf, and I enjoy baseball, and I like the fact that there's an NHL team, at least for now, in Arizona. So I'd probably pick somewhere Arizona where it's golfing, baseball, summer sports are always available, and then there's like a hockey culture down there too.
Absolutely. There certainly is a hockey culture down there. Problem is they just don't have a new arena set up yet. They'll hopefully get that done.
Maybe I'd get into the Division I Arizona State University team. It seems like that'd be a lot of fun.
I could help you with that. I know Garnet Exelby's always looking for some help. You never know. Good friend of the show back in the day. Number 4. Seeing how you're doing a lot of different. You've just come back from Wilcox. You're heading to Caronport. You got a long trip to BC, but I think that's a flight. I don't think that's a bus trip, right?
I think we're taking a bus.
You are taking the bus. Okay, so this fits right down there. What's your favorite karaoke song you're going to perform on that bus for the boys?
Well, I don't think I'll be singing anything. If I had to sing something, it might be Don't Stop Believing by Journey, or an AC/DC song that gets played repeatedly at socials, if anybody even remembers what those are. But when I'm on the bus, my thing is listening to podcasts, so I just throw those in, and pretty much, that keeps me busy for most of the bus trip.
Do you have a favorite podcast?
I don't listen to too many things that are going to make me much smarter, but I like to Spit and Chicklets, Missing Curfew. I listen to 32 Thoughts. I don't know if you ever watched the Overdrive guys on TSN, so I pretty much just get my fill of hockey knowledge, stories, and things like that. That's what I find entertaining.
How do you cipher this, or how do you decipher what's true and what's BS?
I try not to give it too much thought. I try to just be entertained by it. If I'm evaluating every story or what guys are just saying that they read on Twitter or their own thoughts, then I might not have as much fun with it. I think when you listen to people that have played hockey at high levels and they have stories from the dressing rooms, or they think they're insiders, or this is happening or that happening, it's interesting to see their perspectives. And sometimes I listen to those podcasts and then 3 days later something happens. It's the exact opposite of what they were saying. So I find that stuff actually pretty entertaining.
Yeah, where they say something and they get their tail caught between them and like, oops, didn't work out that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Last question for you, Kyle. Hollywood comes to you and they say, we want to do a biopic of Kyle Nixon.
Mm-hmm.
Who's playing the role of Kyle Nixon?
Well, first of all, I don't know how much money that movie would make, but I will say maybe Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, that was the same answer today by one of your boys.
Nice.
There you go. So good minds think alike. I was going to say the late Chris Farley for me, but I don't know. I think he and I would have some fun. We would have some fun discussions when we get to meet one day. So I'm looking forward to those. Coming up next week, we also have the beginning of the Winter Olympics. Real quick, your thoughts on amateurs, quote unquote, going to play hockey to represent the nation. Is that a good thing? Are you looking forward to it? Will you spend time watching the games?
Yeah, I always get into the Olympics just because I think the competitive nature of people training for 4 years of their lives and basically being so focused on trying to be the best at something in the world, I think is an interesting concept. I love to see. I get entertained by obviously what happens when people win and the emotion that comes out. And then I also value kind of the heartbreak that happens when people get so close to meeting their goal and how people react to that and kind of what they show in terms of being humans, not just athletes that can do things nobody else can do. The hockey side of it, I'm excited to see the Canadian-U.S. female rivalry is always fun when there's international competition. So I think that'll be cool. It's disappointing there's no NHLers at the Olympics. I remember when I was at university and watched the Golden Goal by Sid, and that's something that's probably one of the top 2 or 3 things that I saw live. And to not have that with some of the great players in the NHL is disappointing. But I mean, the hockey competition will still be at a very high level, and if Canada makes a run at it, I mean, I'm going to be watching. So
should be a fun couple of 17 days, I believe it is.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, it'll be an interesting competition on the ice for the men. And I agree with you. I'm looking forward to that Canada-U.S. women's, because for over 2 years now, we just haven't had that international tournament competition, and it's about time they maybe get the leading role over there. Kyle Nixon with the Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy joining me tonight on the ice. Keep warm. Obviously, the Oakland A's are one of your favorite teams.
It's actually my old senior ball team. That
okay, there you go.
So we were the Athletics, so yeah, that's what I got going on here.
I'll let you slide with that for tonight. But thanks for joining me, Kyle. Really appreciate it. Good luck this weekend. And we'll touch base with you before the season's out.
All right. Thanks a lot, Theo.
Right on. Kyle Nixon with Pilot Mountain. Thanks for watching us here on the ice, brought to you by Dokes Book Fields, Case Financial, Toby Hockey, and, of course, our friends in Pilot Mountain, bringing more goodness to the greatness. Stay warm. We'll see you on Thursday at 6 p.m. when we have another group of individuals joining us and talking advisories and what to help players and parents with just on the Northwestern Ontario side of the border. So stay with us here on the ice on Thursday. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of the couple of days. Stay warm and take care of yourselves. Take care of your neighbors. And be good. Bye-bye for now. Welcome to Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy, your world-class academic and hockey training facility created to Welcome to Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy, your world-class academic and hockey training facility created to maximize each student's athletic and academic potential. Blackjack Stewart Arena, home of the Buffalo, is inside the 46,000 square foot complex, as well as a curling rink and other facilities. The students have a unique combination of successful, well-rounded education at Pilot Mountain Collegiate Institute and the professional hockey training in an encouraging community. The years of experience of
ice coaching propel our students to the next level, both mentally and physically, in a professional environment.